Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Simply Done Concierge. Folks, take a look at your calendar this week. Look at all the things you have to do, and then make a list of the things you don't want to do. That's what we at Simply Done Concierge can help you with. Give you some time back so you can be in two or three different places at once. Go to simplydoneconcierge.com. Tell us what you're looking for, and we will be able to help. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill and the surrounding towns. Each week, 32 chapters and about 540 members get together, and our job is to help each other grow our businesses. And our local small business success story today, Jessica Yee with Impression, Promo, and Print and Brandshark. We're going to talk promotional products and why you need to think through this. Jessica, good morning. Glad to have you on the show today.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Off Monday off to a good start already, right?
Yes,
Only 28 phone calls and 41 emails been answered, right? Uh,
absolutely.
so what Jessica does is promotional products, and she helps businesses with branding and signage. And that's very important because some people don't need a billboard, don't want to, can't afford a billboard, maybe not TV advertising. So when they do networking and they do events, they want something that people are going to remember them by. And Jessica, I speak for probably a lot of people that think, hey, we'll just put our name on a pen. Everyone will remember us. And that's not quite the whole story. Is
No, not at all. Not at all. It all starts with what impression you want to make. So, with our company, with me especially, and our sales team, we start with a conversation. So we start with asking some questions, getting the feel of what you want, getting to know your business, because the better we know your business, the better we can help you choose the right product to make that impression with your clients or your customers or your prospects.
And I have a logoed pen in my hand, which I love. Fits my hand. It's the right weight. I love it. I try to find more of them like that. But holding that pen does not make me think of the person that gave it to me. One of the things I learned a while back was you want your name on something related to your company that people are going to remember you by. So,
Right.
so what kind of things you looking for from a small business owner to help you craft that idea for them?
Well, first, what their company is, what their mission statement is, what their values are. That's really important. Also, you know, how long they've been in business and what their budget is. Because when it comes down to the bottom line, it is how much can you spend? I get a lot of new businesses who come up to me and were like, well, I need swag. And by the time we finish having that conversation, I have completely talked them out of swag because when your budget is more than uh, 30% of your uh, your income, your startup costs, I tend to tell them that the best way to spend your money is buying a beer and going to networking events because that's how you get your name out. I had a friend, she was absolutely fantastic photographer, and she never ever spent any money on advertising. She goes, "Yeah, I can run my mouth for free and get to know folks and have a beer." And I don't know, I think she's 15, 20 years into her photography business and she's rocking it. So it's got to work.
There's got to be a thought process if you, let's say, you're hosting an event or some sort of presentation or something like that. You want a leave behind or something for the clients to take with them. How do you get into conversation with that to give the host of that event some ideas?
Well, we want to make sure that, like, if it's, for example, there's a writers conference in the local area and they have a lot of leave behinds because they have a lot of guests there. But the hosting group, the company that hosts the conference, always loves to give a gift to those speakers that they brought out. So we sit there, we talk. One year we gave them vegan leather notebooks. One year we gave them leather holders. And then another year we gave them these mini staplers that they can keep in their travel bag. So it's all about having the conversation and what that impact is going to be. They're going to put that little stapler into their travel bag and poof, every time they pull that thing out, or even if they don't pull it out, every time they go into their bag, it's unique enough gift that it's going to bring back that memory. And that's what you're trying to create. You give this great presentation, you give all this information at a show or at a conference or whatever you're hosting. You want that giveaway to bring back a positive memory so that you're constantly creating a feel good and creating those memories over and over again.
And I don't know where these rank in what businesses should put their name on, but I love notepads. I just can't have enough. I've got 2 or 3 in my car, got 2 or 3 by my desk. We have a couple, on magnets on the fridge, and every time I go to the notepad, I see the company name and I think, "So writing on one this morning. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate the
Yeah.
notepad." How do those rank with, options for businesses?
Oh, those are high notepads, notebooks, post-it notes.
Yes.
Huge. Pens are also really popular, but you have to be strategic with your pens. So the pen you have is one of my biggest suppliers. It is a soft grip stylus pen with
Love it.
either colorful print or laser engraving. I really can't, I think it's laser engraving, that pen that you have there.
Yep.
That's a big showstopper. That is really popular right now. But if you're giving them out like water, it makes no impact. So for realtors, I always recommend, yeah, if you need to get the pens, and you're going to give them away like water, get the cheap pens. They still, you get the good cheap pens with the good gel ink in it. You're good. You're golden. But for your closings, if you attend your closings, that's where you're going to buy the more expensive pen with a more executive look. And that's what you're going to have your clients sign with because you've now created a positive memory attached to that pen. So now every time they pick it up, they're like, "Oh, you remember? We this is the pen that the realtor gave us to sign our closing with."
Yeah. That makes a
And
lot of sense because I was just at an event and about 30 of these were laying on the table, and I'll tell anybody that invites me to an event, I'll take 2 pens. I'm not proud of that, but I just can't have enough pens. So I'll grab 2. I always hook them right here, and, if they're sitting there, like, I'll take 2. I put them to good use, and I try to remember them, but, you know, we
right, but if there was a positive
yeah,
relationship memory with that, it's
yeah.
super impactful.
In
So
this what about in the service world, HVAC people, carpet cleaners, painters? Are they some cool things that they can provide, that are related to the industry they're in? I'm sure there's some fun things to come up with.
absolutely. A carpet cleaner, you can turn around and get a small bottle of a spot cleaner,
Ah,
um, magnets that they can put, or even a sticker that they can put on the inside of the cabinet or wherever they keep this, informational stickers on how to care and clean some specific pop, always occurring stains. Uh, Realtors. I have a realtor, and she's probably gonna, like, blow me up for saying this. We brand fire extinguishers. So she
Wow.
gives a fire extinguisher at every closing. Now, are you gonna forget that realtor?
No,
She gave you a fire extinguisher.
I have never heard that, Jessica.
Right,
I like that.
that's hugely impactful. Um, T-shirts are really popular, but let's get fun and trendy with your T-shirts.
Mhm.
Yes, having your logo here and your name splashed on the back with a phone number, that's great for your everyday workers. But if you're giving T-shirts away to your clients, make it fashionable, even trendy if you can.
Ah,
And we have graphic designers on staff that will help you with that. Now you're giving that away. It's something that they're going to want to wear all the time because it's fashionable and it's trendy. And your name's getting out there.
I like those, yeah, because I can't have enough T-shirts either, and yeah, I like those. Now, trendy on a 61-year-old gray-haired, gray beard like me, do those shirts exist?
Yes, they
Because 'Cause I'm
do.
not really a fashion statement, Jessica, I could use some help.
They do. One of the things that we do is when you come to the shop, um, we have you, as we call it, come feel up our shirts to see which ones you like.
That matters, yep.
Yep. And if we have the time, we'll print a shirt on the spot for you if we're
Ooh,
not in the middle of a job. And our shirts don't come with a logo right in the middle or in the left chest. Our logo goes off to the side. So now it's trendy. How many of those do you see?
not many.
Okay. And when you walk out wearing that shirt, people are going to look at you and go, "Oh my God, where'd you get that? Why? It's off to the side. I've never seen a t shirt like that."
Yeah,
And
and yep, and sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
yeah, you're going to remember
Yeah.
that. And I've just created a positive experience when it's attached to that shirt.
And I like that, just like in a clever business name, when you have to stop, when if you get somebody to stop and think for a second, you've accomplished your goal. It's
Yeah.
like, "Is there something wrong with your shirt, or why is it on the side?" "Oh, let me tell you," and you're off and running with your story, so I love those. Those are good. So what kind of branding can I do? I've got 3 grandkids. What kind of branding things can I do for them to remind them not to forget about me, but not that they will?
Well, what we really normally work with are B2B. So, if you want to create a grandpa
Yeah.
brand,
Yep.
which I totally
You know what?
recommend you do, um, you know, come up with a grandpa brand and we'll put it on t-shirts, hats. If I remember correctly, you have a little guy.
He was. I got 3 now. He's 4.5 now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we can put him, if you have a little, we can put it on onesies, on hats. I just did a onesie for a networking group because one of their members was having a baby, and it was the
Yep.
cutest darn thing ever.
Yep.
But they had the artwork and sent it to me, and we put it on the onesie.
Yeah, I love that because my oldest grandson, or my only grandson, but oldest grandkid, Oliver's 4.5, and when he was born, both his parents were working in the sports world. Mom is not now, but dad still is, and a number of their professional team clients that they dealt with sent them onesies with their logo on it, and I refused to hold him when he was wearing a Cowboys onesie, but all the others were good, but I'm not holding anybody wearing a Cowboys onesie. You know, you gotta have standards, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
What are some of the cool now you have a team, with you.
Yes,
Do you guys have some pretty cool brainstorming sessions of cool logos or cool things you could do with these items?
we do. Our production manager gets involved. We usually have, myself. Her and I usually have these conversations because I've done the initial uh, conversation with the client, and I clear it with her to make sure we can do it. Uh, Otherwise, she gets really upset with
Yes, he does.
she'll give me the look like, "Okay, you need to get out of here for a little while. I gotta come up with an idea how to make this work." Um, but and then I've got an award-winning graphic designer and a couple of other graphic designers that we work with. So I have a pretty nice team. Depending on the client, depends on which graphic designer I'll put them with to come up with the ideas.
Is in your time in this world, is there a favorite industry you've enjoyed working with more than others?
I like working with construction folks, anybody in the trades, and occasionally I get somebody in the trade who really wants to, take it to a next level. And then my next person is Love Durham Run, which is the 5K. And we get to be as creative as we want. I mean, she's got a basic logo and she goes, "Okay, tell me what I should do this year."
Yep.
I was like, "Okay." And after doing it with her, once it, we just now we just send her like, "We think we should do this color T-shirt this year with these colors, and what do you think?" And she's like, "Okay, we'll run with that." So this year we've changed the placement of the logo. We've changed. We're gonna have it. It's gonna be a lot more fun. The color's gonna be super super vibrant. So I think they're gonna like it a lot. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
really show you right now, but
That's okay.
definitely. And it's a non for profit, so it's a good thing. If you're a runner, go to Love Durham Run.
Yeah. And
Sign
those
up.
are events that are made for wacky T-shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, because people will wear those all day long because they want somebody to go, "Where'd you get a T-shirt?" Tell you about the 5 kilometers I ran last weekend, do a
Yes,
little
that's a
bragging.
huge thing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
if there's anybody out there who does a 5K or who, coordinates a 5K, give me a call. We love being super creative with those shirts because I have friends who run and I go, "Well, why do you run?" And they're like, "It's all about the t-shirt."
There you go.
I did not realize that.
One of the skills you have that I don't is just an eye for art. I can match colors if a team's uniforms uses those 2 colors. Other than
Mhm.
that, I can't. Not only your, eye for art and design, but I think you're the first one on the show, and this will be, I think, episode 191. You are a professional calligrapher.
Yes,
S
I am a part-time professional calligrapher now. Uh, I've been doing calligraphy for over 30 years. I stop at 30 because, well,
Yep.
we don't need to keep going with the numbers. Did calligraphy for part time for about 15, and then 12 years ago, I started doing it full time. And I say this because I was president of the Artists Alliance of the Triangle for several years, and my goal as president was to teach artists that they can take their love of art and turn it into a full-time job. So within 3 years of being a full-time calligrapher, I was able to replace my New York City IT salary.
Wow. Okay, a couple things on that. One is when we're talking about, length of service, I tell people that I've been out of college 20 years twice. So, that's how I phrase it.
Awesome.
Calligraphy, did that come from a is that a family gene that was passed down to you?
I don't know if it was a family gene. All I know is I went, I took art in high school, and I couldn't draw and I couldn't paint well. And I'm still friends with my high school art teacher, and we still laugh at the pickle I painted, which was not good. Um, but when she taught us calligraphy, and she taught us the hardest one style to learn, which was Gothic black letter, it was like breathing. It was easy and simple and I just stuck with it from that point on. And I did broad edge for many years, and then I did pointed pen calligraphy, which is what the wedding industry and the brides really, really love. Got very well versed, learned from some of the best calligraphers, White House calligraphers, super famous professional calligraphers, calligraphers who've had their art on United States postal stamps, that kind of level of training. And now I teach. And that's why I say part time. I don't do any more weddings. I just do private collection commissions. Yeah, stalk my Instagram if you want to see that. And I teach at NC State Craft Center. I just did a lecture for UNC Greensboro on gilding on paper and parchment. I've taught at Duke Botanical Gardens. I do some private lessons. So, yeah, calligraphy is still a strong part of who I am. My grandmother had beautiful handwriting. My mother had excellent handwriting. My father studied to be an architect, so he has that architectural handwriting, perfect block print that
Yep.
I've always tried to mimic.
What are some of the cool things you've been able to put calligraphy on?
Ooh, I lettered a person.
Ah, did they later make that a tattoo?
No, we did this photo shoot, this real alternative photo shoot. Myself, Chris Nieto with Nieto Photography, Poppy Bell Florist, and a bunch of other people that I can't remember today. And I apologize if I can't remember the names. I'm old. But we lettered on the wedding gown, and I lettered the bridesmaid, and it went up her arm, around her shoulder, came down as a necklace, went back up her shoulders, came down her arm, and disappeared into this gorgeous floral arm piece that they had made. And that is amazing. And the funny part after all of this is the model I did that moved into my uh, neighborhood and is now my neighbor. And to this day, we still say that was our most favorite photo shoot because
Now,
it was
how
amazing.
how long did that take you to do?
Several hours. That
Eh,
photo shoot had a lot of moving pieces. So the wedding dress took me about 4 hours to letter. It took me much longer to prep for. Uh, Lettering on her took me about an hour. And my children were my test subjects. So for days beforehand, I was littering all over them. It was hilarious.
oh, who
And
needs
we
child
also,
labor laws with kids? I love it. Here, come here, Junior, sit down.
and we also did 24 karat gold leaf on the groom's hands. So I put 24 karat gold leaf all over his hands.
Wow. I bet that was cool to do.
It was an awesome photo shoot. And, most of the times in the wedding industry, when you do a photo shoot, it's what's trendy right now. So we can show, our clients that we can do that trendy thing. I walked up to them and said, I don't want to do trendy. What's the most outlandish thing we can absolutely do? And let's do that. And they brought it, and they brought it huge, and we loved it.
Now, did that hurt the woman you were lettering because it's a very point is it a very pointed point that you write with?
It is, but instead of using a pen, what we used was a very pointed eyeliner brush.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to do that pointed pen style, but I was using an eyeliner brush to create that same effect.
Wow. Tell me one of your kids brags about that just a little bit.
Yeah,
Good.
my child Danny,
Okay.
she's the one who brags about it, but she's my oldest daughter and has been with me. Talk about child labor laws. It's like,
Yeah,
come with me.
boy.
We're going to do a wedding show. And she would come.
Now, you have 4 kids. Are any of the 4 do they carry that art gene that you have?
My youngest does. So I have 4 kids, age 26, 23, 22, and 12. No,
Oh,
I'm sorry, 11,
hello,
11.
11-year-old.
I moved here 12 years ago to Raleigh. There was nothing to do. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Love it.
And my
Love it.
26-year-old is a manager. Danny is our production manager here.
Oh, cool.
My Trinity is my stepdaughter, but she's mine. I'm
Mhm.
not giving her back. And she's in Romania right now. She is an officer in the U.S. Army.
Very cool. I like that a lot.
And
Uh,
my little one going into middle school next year.
okay. And carries that, eye for art that you have,
Oh,
right?
she is 10 and 110 times better than I am. She comes up, she comes up and shows me some of her stuff. I was like, I can't even draw. How did you get there?
Well, she got a head start on you a little bit. You didn't start when you were 10, right? Or 11?
No, I did
Yeah.
not, but she's amazing. She
Oh.
YouTubes everything she wants to learn.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's brilliant. She'll be sitting there studying how to create eyes or
Yeah.
hands or whatever.
Do you allow her to write on the wall?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the beauty of having a mom who's an artist.
Yep.
You can take a wall on your in your bedroom
Mhm.
and write on it. And all the kids were allowed to do that.
Oh, nice. Okay. How often did you have to repaint walls?
Um, well, my oldest Danny used it as a visual study guide. So pretty much every semester, she would repaint her wall for her next classes.
Her own whiteboard. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, but she didn't want whiteboard. She wanted a blackboard so that she could use chalk paints
Yeah.
pens with it.
You know, it makes sense because 'cause you're not gonna lose that sheet of paper. You're not gonna go looking
Exactly.
through your desk like, "Where is that?" And you just look at the wall. I actually kinda like that. I'm gonna recommend that to my 2 boys for their kids. I know the answer, but I'm gonna recommend it, so. Your husband's name is Kai, and I
Yeah.
always like to ask guests on the show, how did you and Kai meet, and do you both tell the story the same way?
I don't know what story he tells folks, but we met while I was working at Pfizer. He was operations Pfizer, and I was second level support at Pfizer. And actually, I was trying to hook him up with my girlfriend, and they just couldn't understand why they just didn't get together. A little dense, just a little dense. And we ended up, oh gosh, 20, I'm bad with this, like 25, 26 years together
Alright.
from when we started dating.
Sounds like it may last. I feel good about this one.
I feel good about it too.
Uh,
The
does he
model,
does he have any creative genes?
he is a brilliant, brilliant uh, technician, creative in his approach to everything. He's also a really good salesperson. And at
Okay.
some point, he will eventually retire and hopefully come work for us because he's really good at selling himself and selling
Ooh,
his company. And he super loves what he does. Where at some point, 12 years ago, I looked at myself and looked at what I was doing for a business and went, for a living and went, I'd rather stick needles in my eye than have to answer the same inane question again.
yeah. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but I wanna ask where your the first official date you and Kai had.
It was sometime in October. I don't remember the date.
Okay,
Uh, we came over with the Magnum bottle of sake because we both love sake
nice.
and just never left.
There you go.
Just never left.
I
We
like
finished that bottle of sake and we've been having sake together ever
I
since.
like that. Very good, very good. So one of your previous industry was, uh, on the help desk side for a couple of different businesses.
Mhm.
You said before we came on the air, you said that you didn't really have any good stories because I figured you had some goofy questions, but in the world now that I understand what world you're in, I get that. But you were starting to tell a story about the being in the business world, the business attire you used to wear to work and why you don't now. You didn't much
Well, when
after.
I first started, in IT, I was, your thought is you have to wear suits every day. So I did. So I wore suits with skirts and nylons and heels. And I think after the second or third time, I had to crawl underneath the desk and ruin nylons that way and wasn't able to maneuver as well because, heels aren't always helpful. Um, and I had to spend more time worrying about what was coming out the back end or being shown out the back end while I was under there. I was like, okay, pantsuits are it. And from that point on, I just wore pants.
That, probably would have been a good thing to have read in the employee manual, huh?
That would have been a good thing to think it through before starting.
Yeah, because guys wrote that manual, they never thought twice about climbing underneath the desk. What do we have to worry about, right?
Right.
You are from New York, so we'll get to your move to North Carolina in a second. What was the best thing about going to Holy Trinity Catholic High School?
Oh, go Titans. Um, I still have a lot of friends from there. Uh, and the funny thing is, a bunch of us moved to North Carolina. So I have people I went to high school here in North Carolina when I moved here. But um, at the time, at that age, when I asked my parents to go, it was because they were a no uniform school.
Oh.
They had a dress code, but there was no uniform. So after, you know, 8 years of having to wear a uniform, that was like, woohoo, 4 years of not wearing uniforms. They have unfortunately gone to wearing uniforms. So I feel real sorry for those folks, those kids nowadays. But unparalleled education, which I didn't realize till I got into college. Unparalleled education. Uh, and just the friendships I made,
Mm.
you know.
Did you, participate in any extracurricular activity?
Oh, yeah, I was a theater nerd,
Ah.
complete and utter theater nerd. I hung out with all the folks in theater, and I've got a friend, Rich Kless. He lives in Durham, and he works for Duke in their theater department. Been doing that for ages. He was uber talented back then. He's still uber talented now. Um, and I have, there's Dwight that lives out in Charlotte. There's just a whole bunch of folks that are down here, and it's wonderful. Like a friend Marge who moved from North New York to Charlotte a few years ago, and she was a pharmacist. She's doing something else. I'm not really sure, but it's just nice to have everybody close by because when you move from New York to come down here, or anywhere, you truly lose a lot of those connections.
When you were hanging out with the theater nerds, did you have a vision of acting, writing, or directing at any point in time?
I didn't don't I didn't act. I didn't write. I was a stagehand, and I had visions of being a stage manager for you know major musical productions. But you know, it just didn't work out that way. And then I got into IT because that got hot and you could make money off of it, and kind of had to feed myself. So that's what we did.
So what ended up now you're from Westbury, New York. What eventually got you to move to North Carolina?
My husband,
Okay.
it's always the husband.
All right.
He got transferred over here, so we moved down here.
All right. And who was he
And
working
then
for at the time?
he's still working for the same company.
Okay.
It was EMC, now it's Dell EMC, I think, or just Dell now, I can't remember. So he works for Dell, and he's a solution architect with Dell, and um, really, I mean, his calendar is full
Yeah.
all the time because
And
he is
before you moved
first.
to North Carolina, had you ever been to North Carolina?
Oh, heck no. I wanted to move to Georgia because
Okay.
I have cousins in Georgia. But it was like, "Nope, we gotta move to North Carolina." I was like, "Okay."
There are, quite a few people from up north that have made their way down here. I believe you probably figured that out, right?
Yes. Yes, I
And
did.
and do you miss the snow?
Oh, no, not at all. Absolutely not. I
What's
lived in a neighborhood where everybody was, above 65, and we were the youngest age group in that whole.
okay.
So, when I would go out to shovel my snow, I would take my kids and shovel the guy across the street and the guy next to me, and just because you know, I would feel horrible if any one of them came out and slipped and fell because of the snow or whatever, or had a heart attack because they were
Mhm.
shoveling snow. So it's like,
Yeah.
y'all are young, let's go out there and do it.
What do you miss most from New York?
Food,
Anything in
food,
particular?
the variety of food
Oh,
and how late you can get food.
okay. I give you
Cheap
that
is
one.
non-Epicurean food.
I'll give you that,
Although,
yeah, the length of time restaurants or places stay open, yeah. But our
yeah,
Southern cuisine, are you getting used to that?
some of it,
Okay.
uh, we like barbecue, we love brisket, you know, it's my husband and I were used to being able to try a
Yeah.
variety of restaurants in our local area.
Mhm.
But, there is a variety of restaurants in the Raleigh-Durham area. You just have to go out further.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Did you so
but it's good.
your neighborhood up in New York, a lot of, different ethnic groups
Oh, yeah.
in those neighborhoods, which led to hopefully meeting a lot of different people, but I've heard this story over and over again, the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's
Yep. I'm with you on that. You just have to drive a little further, so yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, when Kai retires, he can open one of those restaurants that you know.
He is an amazing cook. I don't cook in my house. He cooks. And he is super amazing. And for a minute there, we had him convinced that when he retires, he should open a food truck until one day he decided like his guilty pleasure is going to Waffle House and getting you know, the closest thing we can get to New York diner, right?
Okay.
So he goes and he sits at the counter and he watched the cooks do their thing. And he came home, he goes, I can never do that.
Yeah.
I'm not built for that. So I was like, okay, so it's not a food truck, but we'll figure it out.
But if you said he enjoys being around and with people. He is a good
Yes.
salesman. I bet that one-on-one ordering and getting to know people and chat with them for a minute, I bet he'd probably enjoy that part of it, wouldn't
Oh, he would definitely love that.
he? Right. So
Uh,
you're that's maybe not out of the question yet. And
Maybe.
each week he can feature a specific type of food, right?
I guess he could.
There you go. And you can help him promote it. And all your kids can design the truck.
Oh,
Hey,
absolutely.
how much what a great family event that would be, right? Everybody
Yeah,
bring your ideas. We're gonna decorate the truck.
absolutely.
That'd be all right. Okay, so give us a tip. Some small business owners watch the show. What's something they should be thinking about on the first thing or the next thing they decide to put their logo on?
The first thing they should think about is what's the impact they want to make. What is that memory connection to that item they're trying to make? We've all been to trade shows where everybody gives you a tchotchke, but when you at the end of the day you get home and half the time you throw those tchotchkes away, you throw that swag away because it does not have a memory associated to it. So think about the impact you want to make. And if you're not sure what that impact is, talk to your team or find a promotional products person. If it's not me, find somebody else and have that conversation. If your promo person is not having that conversation with you, I would go and find a promo person who's willing to have that conversation with you, because I don't know about you, but I work hard for my Benjamin. So whatever I give out, I want to make sure I get the best effect from it.
I'm with you on that, and we've been putting Jessica's phone number up on the screen during the show, so please give her a call, even if it's just a 10-minute brainstorming session. She'll do that for you.
Yeah.
And I failed to mention at the top of the show that Jessica is in her BNI chapter is Profits in the Park. They meet Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. at the Morrisville Chamber of Commerce. So if you are in that area and Tuesday mornings are good for you, you will enjoy your time with her group. So you'll meet some other sales professionals and business owners as well to maybe have an impact on your business. Well, Jessica, had a lot of fun. I did not expect to hear that you had lettered a person, which is why I love doing this show, because I have no idea what I'm going to learn. I bet that was a ton of fun, satisfying as well.
It's a bucket list.
Yeah,
Definitely one
very
of those
cool.
bucket.
All right. Well, like I said, we've been putting Jessica's phone number on the screen there for you. Give her a call. Go visit her chapter on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Jessica, it's been a blast. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.